These are the plaintiffs, Frances and Cheryl Niemeyer. Frances says she and her daughter rented a house from the defendant, and the man didn't have the place ready on the agreed-upon date. This caused them much turmoil because they were relying on the house being ready to move into because they were moving out of their old place. Bottom line, the defendant refuses to return their security or pay for their hotel, so they're suing for the $5,000 they're owed. This is the defendant, Larry Stahl. He says he was all set to have the plaintiffs move into his rental, but received a frantic call from Frances accusing him of renting the house to other people at the same time, and she demanded her money back. The woman was irate, to say the least. He became uncomfortable with their aggressiveness and chose not to have any further dealings with them. He's accused of rotten renting. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $2,500 for 1 month's unpaid rent.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiffs rented a house from the defendant and relied on the move-in date that came and went, and they never got in. But the defendant says the plaintiffs got all accusatory, so he pulled the plug. It's the case that get a move on it.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, mother and daughter?
Yes.
All right. How did you come upon his place as a potential place to rent?
Facebook Market.
Facebook Market?
Yeah.
Do you actually happen to have a copy of what it is
Yes.
that you saw?
And this is also the conversation that I had with him on Messengers.
Okay. So you reach out to him and you see the place, you like the place, and you give him a deposit?
Yes.
All right. So he advertises it, and the day he's advertising it is what day?
It was in July, I believe.
Okay. Because you printed it out later.
Right.
I don't really have the date, but I do know that you are speaking to him in July. Is this still available? And he says, yes, I would like to come see it, blah, blah, blah. You see it, and then you end up giving him a deposit of how much?
$600.
All right. And the idea is that you're going to be able to rent it when?
September 15th.
Why so far in advance?
As far
I mean, it's so far off into the future. You're looking in July for October?
Yes, because I wanted to make sure I have a place to stay because I was leaving my house. My house was sold. So I needed to make sure that I had a place in September.
So go ahead and tell me what happens.
Well, he had called me up saying that the people that were renting his other house were going to buy a house. And
the people that were renting
supposedly has another house in Lindenhurst. And those people were going to move out, and he was going to move into that house. That's why he was renting this house. So he called me up. He actually texted me and told me that they're not moving. Their closing date on their house was postponed, and he don't think I'm going to be able to move in on the 15th.
When does he tell you this? July, August, September? When does he tell you this?
I think he told me a few days before the 15th.
Okay. And then what happens?
I'm trying to go back and forth with him, trying to see when can I move in. He's not giving me no answers. And then I found out on, I believe, the 12th
of September,
I was talking to my girlfriend that he also rented the house to her sister.
How did you find that out?
Because me and her were talking, me and my girlfriend. She's like, Fran, this sounds familiar. It sounds like the same thing same thing that my sister's landlord is telling me. And I was like, well, do me a favor, text your sister and ask your sister where the house is. Same address. I said, okay. Ask her who her landlord's going to be. It's Larry.
So he took a deposit from her too?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. How much did he take from her?
$2,500.
You're kidding me.
I had taken, yes, I took a backup tenant.
A backup tenant?
Yeah, she didn't have a lease yet set up.
First of all, do you own this joint?
No, I sublease it.
Okay, you sublease it, and your sublease goes until when?
Goes into 2020.
Right, and since when have you not paid rent?
What do you mean not paid rent? I paid my rent over there.
Were you in the process of an eviction?
No, I was leaving there to move into the place, and I was trying to rent it to fulfill my lease.
Did someone file an eviction against you?
Yeah, at some point, my landlord, who I got into a battle with.
Your landlord filed an eviction against you.
Yep.
When was the eviction filed against you?
I don't know the exact date, because,
It wasn't October, was it?
no, it was definitely,
No,
well,
it was
maybe
well
actually, I'm
before
gonna say it was
that.
actually September.
It was
'cause
before you started taking money from people
No,
for
that's not-
something you
that's not
couldn't
true.
deliver because you were in the process of an eviction.
That's not true.
No?
No.
Okay. Did you ever speak? Well, you tell me. Let me hear from you. What is it that happened here?
Well, I had the remainder of my lease, and I had the right to sublease it. It's in my lease
May
that
I
way.
see that you have the right to sublease it? Is it circled where you have the right to sublease it, or just point to it?
There's a star on it, on the
Okay,
page.
just read it to me.
Both parties agree that tenant is renting full home, including the basement apartment, and can be rented, allowing subleasing of premises to landlord. And then it says landlord reserves the right to approve any tenants.
Okay, so before you took their money, or before you took the $2,500 backup money from the other people, did you consult with the
Well,
landlord?
he says he's allowed to refuse if I
Right,
wanted
so
to.
did you
Yes.
consult with the landlord and
Yes,
give them?
he was
You
aware.
did.
He was aware in July that I was going to.
No,
rent
that wasn't my question.
Okay.
Did you show them the tenants on paper or whatever so he could approve them?
I advised him what I was doing. Yes.
Did you show them the
didn't-
tenants on paper
he
before you
didn't ask for
accepted their
anything else.
money? Because he's got to accept them. If he doesn't accept them, what are you doing
He
collecting
did not
money?
ask me for anybody. I told him what I was doing, and he just told me that as long as I was paying the rent and I was doing my thing, and I told him I was putting a lease together.
Okay, can I ask you a question?
Yep.
How are these people going to get the place October 1st?
I was going to be moving out into my other house. I own a home in Lindenhurst. I was going to move. The tenant was moving out. I was going over to live there, and I was really fulfilling the rest of my lease and doing the right thing because I had a lease with
Can
him.
I ask you a question? Mm-hmm. Your lease was going to cover you from when to when?
I believe it was October to October.
Right. That's what I
For
want
a
to see.
year, it's a year lease.
Right. Did you think he was the owner?
Yes, until I found out he wasn't.
Right. How is it that if your lease ends in February, that I should consider this on the up and up when you wrote here in this lease agreement that it was from October 1st, 2019 to October 1st, 2020, and you don't have the place after February of 2020?
Well, I had the place before that. If you look at his lease, the lease I have here, I originally had it from 2018 originally with him, and it was extended for that time
How
period.
are you going to legally obligate yourself to a place that you don't have possession of from February until October? Michael's the actual owner? Yeah.
I have Michael here if you'd like
You
to
have
speak
Michael
to
here?
him. Yes. He's our
Where's
witness.
Michael? Well, step right on up, Michael. Please place Michael under oath.
Just stand right there. Tell me to swear the truth, to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God.
So, do tell.
Do tell.
What is going on between you and that tenant? First of all, did he have a right to sublet?
Just the downstairs to his cousin. It was going to brother, the basement. He took
Okay.
the whole house for the basement.
The wording was a little muddy for that. It needed to have been said much more
Yes,
explicitly. But anyway, so did he ever tell you in July, listen, I'm renting the place out, including from February to October of 2020?
No,
Okay. Did he ever bring you anybody to tell you these are the potential tenants?
no.
Did he, in fact, but by the way, tell me about this backup. I love this. You've got it rented out. You've already taken their money for $600. How do you end up taking someone else's $2,500?
Well, I gave her $2,500 back the other day.
Yeah, when they call the detectives? Give me that. Give me that. I'm going to lose it any second now. Will you please tell me, landlord, when is it that you find out what shenanigans are going on?
I found out September 11th.
And how did you find out?
I got phone calls from my neighbors.
You got phone calls from your neighbors.
Of course, there was a lot of police presence in my house.
Why
But
police presence?
I didn't know. I thought there was a disagreement because they'd been there before. So my lawyer told me to stay away from the house because the eviction process was starting.
Wait, you started an eviction process against him when?
July 23rd.
Oh, July. And why?
I didn't get rent.
Did he talk to you about any mold problems or any such thing?
He claimed those mold problems. I spoke to downstairs.
So
I
you
went
didn't
down
get
there.
July. Did you get August?
No,
Did you get September?
no.
All right. Your eviction against him, by the way, when did you give him the money?
I believe it was August 10th.
Oh, that's interesting. So
August
at the
10th.
time that you're renting it out, an eviction proceeding has been filed against you by your landlord.
I didn't have an eviction at that point in my pants from the court.
I have all the paperwork if you need it.
Show me the service of process.
Okay. This is the first one with his certified mail return receipt.
Let me see that.
That was signed July 28th.
Just a second. How do you figure you don't have it when you signed for it July 28th?
Can I say that? I didn't sign.
So you not only knew you were being evicted for non-payment, you then take her 600 and another person's 2,500.
And
Wait, a third person?
3 more families after that.
Yeah, there was.
You can't be serious.
Yes, I
Yes.
am.
How is he walking into my courtroom? This is repeated theft on your part. You know you're being evicted and you think you're smarter than everybody else. Who's the guy with you?
I was a tenant as well. I subleased the upstairs part of the house.
Did you know all this stuff?
No, I didn't. I learned about this
Why did you think you were here?
because I witnessed her belligerence and her.
Right. Did you witness what he was doing?
No, I had no idea.
Are you learning right now everything that just has been said
I've
in this?
learned a few things. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and have a seat. I don't think you want to associate yourself with them. Go ahead and sit. All right? So now, 3 other people. So now there's 5 families that are victims?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Or the text messages.
I'll give him the
So
text
he's all still
messages.
supporting him. No, stand up. I want you right next to him. Go ahead, go
I
on.
think it's you'll see. The text
I'll see
messages-
what? What will
the
I
text
see?
messages from this lady. She was awful.
I don't care how
Screaming.
awful she is. He stole her money. He's a thief.
I
He
didn't
was
steal the
threatening
money.
her.
I was giving her money back.
She was threatening him
Yeah.
with violence.
Yeah? Do you think I care how rude she is in the messages?
No, I think you'd like to see these. Yeah.
No, I think you're wrong.
Okay.
I think what I'd like is for him to have paid $600 back and to feel
no.
really bad about how it is that he stiffed 5 families. That's what I
I
would
gave
like.
him 2,500
altogether.
altogether.
Yeah.
I gave him 600 as a deposit and then gave him 1,900.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Just like
So
the
you're
girl.
out 2,500?
2,500.
It's
How many
on my
people did you
lease.
take $2,500 from?
I gave the other woman.
How
that-
many people did you take $2,500 deposits
There was
from?
her and the other woman that I prior gave $100 million back.
And
And I had a deposit from someone after, but I gave them that money back. That's it.
So you took $7,500 from
I
people.
did not take 7,500. I took a deposit.
Of $2,500 from 3 different families.
No, it's 2,500 from her, 2,500 from the other girl who was the person that she knew. And then there was a $500 deposit that was taken, and I returned that to them.
Dude, how do you pick them?
My lawyer said the same thing.
Wow.
So can a landlord take a deposit from more than one tenant?
I would say no,
Why?
because the tenant that gave that deposit is making it on the condition that the apartment will be available for them. And if they don't have that, then why take a deposit?
What do you say?
I was gonna say yes, but
He was pretty good, huh?
yeah.
Okay, going inside the courtroom.
You are suing for your deposit back. You are suing for your hotel fee because you closed on your house and then September 15th you weren't able to get in. And then, so you're suing for a hotel from the 15th through the 25th, correct? But your lease starts on October 1st. The written lease starts on October 1st. Then you're suing for storage fee in August. What's that about?
Well, I'm suing for the one in September. And that was that because I had a storage because I knew I was moving. So I had a smaller storage unit that I had stuff in, and I had to get a larger one in September.
Okay, do you have that paperwork?
I don't think so.
Okay,
I
and
think
then a
that's
moving
the
van,
orig-
September and October. Explain those fees.
Those are to move the stuff out into the apartment we did end up getting.
Okay, but wouldn't you have paid that anyway?
I would have had the moving van, yes.
Right,
But I wouldn't
so-
have had the bigger storage unit.
Okay, but that's a separate thing that you're
Right.
suing for. So, and you don't have any evidence of the bigger storage unit, and you don't, but you have one moving van expense, and that's what you would have had anyway, right?
Right.
Okay, so now, wonder of all wonders, you have a counterclaim, don't you? For $2,500 more from her. Explain your counterclaim, Mr. Stahl.
I have nothing to say on that.
I'm sorry?
I have nothing to say on that.
Well,
I-
you
I
have
was
to
basi-
because
I
you're
was-
suing for $2,500 in a place that a court ordered you to vacate the month before.
The court did not order me to vacate it until I went on September 25th, and I agreed to November 2nd. I was going to go to a trial if I wanted to with him over the fact that he was evicting me and there was mold in the house downstairs and I lost the money from downstairs. The rent was $3,500.
Right, but you admit that you're the one who told her you're not going to be able to move in because these other people aren't moving out, which is
Correct.
That's not even true. She's not going to be able to move in because you can't deliver a place from October to October. And you think you have a legitimate claim. See, you look like a thief because you are a thief. When you say, oh, yeah, he's always rented to me. Are you out of your mind? I can rent it out beyond that which I have a right to under my own lease. When you know that you haven't paid July, when you're dealing with her, you already haven't paid the guy July, and you know the guy's going to file a lawsuit against you, and you know that if it wasn't, that you have no right to rent to anybody until the next October. That's why you're collecting money from everybody. Because if it looks like a duck, and it quacks like a duck, and it walks like a duck, it's often a duck. And that's what this is. You look like a fraud because you are a fraud. I am ruling in your favor in the amount of the $2,500. I am also ruling I'm amending your pleadings to include punitive damages and ordering him to pay you another $2,500 for a sum total judgment in your favor of $5,000.
Well, as they say, the defendant had the book thrown at him here in court today. Mr. Stahl, this did not look too good for you.
No.
What are you thinking?
I don't really have too much to say at this point.
Not much you can say.
No, I can't say much.
The judge called you a thief, and a little bit of everything else.
Yeah.
I mean, you
She doesn't have all the facts.
look
probably,
terrible.
but-
It just made you look
Yes,
terrible.
it does.
Sorry, she had the evidence.
There you go.
Okay.
All right.
Everybody take a look.
Have a good day.
There you go.
Thank you.
That way.
Oh, that way.
Ms. Niemeyer, how come you happened to bring him with you in court today?
After my witness, I've been keeping in contact with him from the beginning when we first started finding out about everything.
Yeah, but you didn't bring him in as a witness to begin. If you hadn't said something to the judge about him being in the
I
audience.
did. The thing is that we didn't want him to see him. We wanted him to be a surprise.
Big surprise. You're cool.
Yeah, well, it's ending finally. It's
Finally.
been long,
Finally.
but it's ending.
Can you believe everything that's gone on?
It's something like Hollywood couldn't write up. It's just one after another.
Incredible. Good
Thank
luck to you.
Have a great day.
How about that one, Harvey? Very interesting.
Doug, when time matters, write the magic words. Time is of the essence.